Hi, I'm Nayak, Head of Operations for Calyx London. You must have seen me in the exhibitions. If you're not, you will see me very soon in your city. Today we have a special guest. It's Dr. Sam. He's the vision behind Calyx and Makewell. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Dr. Sam.
Thanks for having me.
We have a lot of questions for you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna shoot some of the questions. Are you ready?
Man, I thought I was coming in for free chai, pani, coffee. Yeah, I had no idea you could put this. But anyway, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Off you go.
So, shall we start the questions?
Yeah,
then?
of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
All right. So these questions comes a lot. So every time we go to the exhibitions, they ask us the questions that Calyx London, where it comes from. So the actual questions start like this. If our products are made in India, why is the brand called Calyx London? What's with the London in the name?
Right. So, okay, that's a good question, right? So just to cover the Calyx bit, the whole movement, the whole idea, it's all started in London, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a Londoner. We as a global organization, we have 2 full factories in the UK. One's in the Greater London area. And in fact, Calyx London was designed in London, in central London, in fact. And the formulations, the chemistry, it all has started life in our HQ, which is Greater London area. The name Calyx itself is derived from like the stem of the plant, part of that growth of the plant and reproduction and so on. And the idea behind it was to promote a sense of community.
Sure.
And and also just to show off our heritage and where the original companies all started, we felt that it was right for a global brand to at least have that London moniker to anchor it, to say, hey, well, hold on, this is where we started, so why not?
Yep.
And as to why then made in India, well, that made perfect sense, because we think it's a fantastic product for the Indian market. We're already well established in this part of the world with our factories here as part of our global chemistry business. So, that's the background. That's where it came from, really.
So for our viewers, Indian factory started in 2009.
Correct. Yeah, it's about 16 years. Correct. Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a lot of efforts that you have put in the Indian market.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I don't know how much time I have, but I'll tell you this. So the original mother company, right, Makewell, of which some people say I'm the head, other people say bad things. Who knows? Well, I don't know. But Makewell was started by my father, and I remember so I was getting married in 2007, and as is tradition for a lot of us that are British based but have Indian origin, a lot of us come over for wedding shopping, right? And it was at that time in January 07. It was January 07. I was here, surprising like Charisma and all the family that were here wedding shopping.
Yeah.
And it was that time I really felt like, you know what, this is a great place to be doing business. And I'd already finished PhD. I'd already joined the firm. I was already trying to argue the case that we kind of need an additional manufacturing site, and we needed to have it somewhere in Asia. Why would we not do it in areas that we know well, and we have good links with, and so on? So I wrote the initial draft report, having come back from India. I was back at work, and I remember coming down. I'd left at that point. I had moved back to our family home. I'd been abroad and elsewhere for research and whatever. And I remember where I stood when I got downstairs, and in this study, Dad was sitting there in his pyjamas, going through my draft report that I'd left scattered out on the desk, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, this is it. He was like, Samit,
we must do it.
we must persuade your mother, and then we would do it. So that was the golden thing, right?
Sure.
And obviously, Mum had no interest in this kind of stuff for Dad, because at that point, Dad was of an age. These new projects need energy. So actually, in many respects, even though at that point I was relatively junior in the firm, I was given the green light, right? So then we started it. It took us 2 years plus to find the site, build a customized factory, bring in customized equipment from all of our suppliers around the world, and establish ourselves. And that was for a multitude of industries. And actually, the cosmetic nail industry, well, that came a little bit later, because at that point the Indian market wasn't quite there yet. It wasn't ready for our chemistry, our technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, did it take a long time? Yeah, it took a really long time. We were in other markets first, and we're still very strong. And the factory now is a jewel in the crown of the global business, no question.
Right. Okay, move to the next question.
I apologize if that's overstated your answer. Sorry, but
that's
you
okay.
asked.
Yeah, I think this is best for our viewers, that they would like to know that where Calyx come from, where Make will come from.
Yeah. I mean, look, Make we've been around since 1980. So we're a well-established global business. Calyx London is a newer project, right?
Yeah.
It's frankly, if I'm honest, it is part of your idea as well. Don't forget, you persuaded the senior team.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to do. It took you a long time to persuade a bunch of chemistry people that actually we should go into a final finished product to really push this.
Yeah.
So don't sell yourself short. I'll hang you if this all fails. Yeah. But no, seriously, it's a great thing. So it took time.
All right. So second question is, what do you feel is the biggest difference between the Indian nail industry and the Western market?
Okay, there's multiple ways to answer this, right? There's a technical difference. There's a regulatory difference, and that's actually quite important.
That's the best one, regulatory.
Right. But there is a commercial difference as well, right? So let's talk. The general areas would be, say, acrylic systems and gel systems, right? Certain markets around the world are a little bit higher in proportion for acrylics, and a lot of artistes, very high-end nail professionals, technicians, they prefer acrylic systems because it gives them the scope they require. The artistry they require, right? And they some of the work they do is incredible. I mean, it really is. And then the gels market is extremely strong globally, but I'd argue in India, it's a very large, very dominant gel market, right? Sure. So that's a user difference. In terms of technical differences, look, it's a different atmosphere. So you cannot just easily transfer the same chemistry for one geographic region to another. Sure. But those are nuanced differences. I think actually one thing I have noticed about the Indian market is the technicians, they prefer a faster set. And they're very much like, you need to set and go, Yeah. Whereas some of the Western market, I would argue slightly longer times. They just work on a slightly longer time scale in terms of how it cures, how it falls on the nails, slightly different depending on what the taste is of what the technicians want to see. So there is some technical difference. Do
you think that educating nail technician can really shift the things here in India? Because what we felt is in the Indian market, the nail technicians are not as educated as the Western part of the world.
So I mentioned before regulatory differences, right? So the European market it's well regulated. It's executed really well. It's quite strict. And next up, I'd argue the American market is, relatively speaking, it is well regulated, and there are some international standards. That is a little bit more lacking in the Indian market. And actually, one of the reasons we went with, and as you proposed as well, you put forward some cases to say, look, there are people in India getting their nails done, and they've got skin irritation, they've got problems.
Yeah.
And when we investigated what was on the market, it doesn't matter what you're told, it doesn't matter what documentation you're getting, because that source is false.
Yeah.
Right? And we wouldn't do that. It's
Absolutely.
crazy. I'd get arrested for it. There's no point. But other companies in other parts of the world are doing that. And when we analysed what was being fed into the Indian market, it became abundantly clear that in a not very regulated market, there was certain chemistry that we felt was a little bit more harmful compared to what we would ourselves produce for, say, Western markets. And technologically, I think there's an argument that we could bring this, and that's why we thought Calyx London could be brought to the Indian market really successfully.
I think that's where our next question leads, that HEMA and TPO. Because as you mentioned that, a lot of gel polishes, it is harmful, right? And it has the HEMA and TPO. Now, Calyx London, it doesn't have HEMA and TPO. So tell us a bit more about what is HEMA and TPO, because everyone would want to know what is HEMA.
HEMA's, so this is where you've got me, it's been many years. I think 2-hydroxyethyl methacrylate, so hydroxyethyl methacrylate mainly. TPO is like it's a general name for certain types of olefins. So that's something that helps the product cure on the nail quicker once it's under the UV. So it's activated by the energy of that UV light, right?
Right. So HEMA is also the monomer, right? It's also one kind of monomer.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another type might be, say, MMA, methyl methacrylate, right? Now, our products don't have that either.
Yeah.
For the cosmetic nail market, you really don't want to be using methyl methacrylate.
Yeah.
And
that's MMA, by the way.
MMA, please don't get me wrong. That's a very useful chemistry for other markets, but just not necessarily for cosmetic nail, because it can lead to certain skin irritation. HEMA more, that's a bigger problem, I think. Some would disagree. And TPO is a much, much bigger issue, which I think Europe in particular has made great strides on, based on some more recent research and so on. One thing I would add is we've seen certain phthalates being used in the products that we see at the very low end in the Indian market. And that the mission here is, let's eradicate that, because that is genuinely cancerous.
Absolutely.
Do you want cancer? No, put this on your nail. No one does that. You wouldn't want your daughter to have that on her.
No.
I don't like kids. Why would we sell that? We ain't going to do that. So then when we found that out, I think we moved quite quickly to say, let's get involved in this and let's solve this. There are, so I mean, those chemistries, so that exists. There are other ingredients as well. I think one of the best things that we are, and that I think Calyx London benefits from, is that being an old school, proper organic chemistry company, we have very tight controls over our ingredients, and actually many of those we're involved in their manufacture as well, like our Valama side. It's a great example of that, though I'm not always related to all this stuff, but it's part of that. And also we're a medical device company. It's the core of what we do is medical devices, right?
Absolutely.
And all of those kinds of polymers and so on. So it's not a huge leap for us to extend that kind of thinking, that kind of logic, that spirit of what we do to our cosmetic nail product, being the Calyx London product.
Right. A lot of chemistry knowledge. No wonder why you got PhD in your chemistry.
It's
All right, so next question.
it's been many decades.
Yeah.
Most of the PhD lot in our company laugh
Yeah.
at me. You do know that, right? I know that they laugh at me. It's a fact.
By the way, how many chemistry PhDs? Is over 15,
It's
I guess?
about 15.
It's about
plus.
15.
We're hiring
Yeah.
probably one or two more this year as well. So
Right.
yeah, it's
So
pretty.
there are a lot of PhDs in our company, and when we put it all together, then the chemistry make the magic, right?
Yeah. Hey, look, it's look, I'm here to like see the team here today, right?
Yeah.
It's never one person,
Absolutely not.
and you don't need a PhD
Yeah.
to be a great scientist
Mhm.
or a great person in the lab, right? That's a fact. And just because you have a PhD doesn't make you a great scientist, right? Like,
Yeah.
I had a really rich research career before MakePal and so on, but that was decades ago now, right? Now I'm an old man. So I think what's important is having a great mix in a team. And frankly, all of us struggle with that all day long. Anyone that says otherwise is lying, right? So, but the point is, it's a team. Like right now, Calyx London wouldn't exist if your team hadn't given feedback to the lab guys, right?
Sure.
And there's still further developments to do. There's still work to be done. But for what it is, you can't build without a team. So please don't feel you've got PhDs and wonder. Yeah, it's nice, but there's so much more to what we do.
Move swiftly to the next question. What are your thoughts on not so great practices happening in the Indian nail market, like selling harmful products super cheap, and people still going for them just because of the price?
Yeah, what's my view?
Yes.
So as mentioned, one of our key missions is to eradicate that kind of behavior. I'm happy for competition, always as long as it's fair. Fair competition, great.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah.
What's going on in the Indian market is worrying. When we start testing products and we're finding phthalates and so on, let's be really blunt. These products, they handle beautifully.
Yeah.
They do. Otherwise, why would you put anything in there? Right?
Absolutely.
They do. But what's being used to make it look and feel that good, and yet somehow the price is magically lower. There's no such thing as a free lunch. It is chemistry that we would not use.
Yeah.
So if you said, hey, Calyx London, is it just in India? No, we're looking at US market, that's all taking off as well. If we had the right team in the UK, who knows, it would be really strong there, but we just don't. You're not there, basically. You're here.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And we've got the other team in the US and all that stuff, and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But we can't be involved in illegal behavior. So lying on documents, saying that the ingredients list, the recipe is X, but actually you're providing Y. It's totally illegal. And what you need is a better regulatory framework in India to really execute on that and make sure that kind of behavior doesn't go on, right? Like the environment that we have in Europe.
Yeah.
So now how do you do that? I think as we grow with Calyx, I'd like to think that we can have a word of that. Maybe that's something we can explore further down the line. But we really must get involved in that because it's not appropriate. Now, you think about it from the end user point of view, of course they want a cheaper product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it handles well. It looks good. Of course you want it to be cheaper. I think where we are price point, I think there's deep value.
Absolutely.
I genuinely, I don't know that we're the cheapest or anything. I doubt we are.
We are not the cheapest, but
no, but I suspect we're competitive, right?
We are very competitive.
Right. So, and I think that's partly because
by the way, I don't know whether you know, but we are the only brand in India who is doing HEMA and TPO-free at present.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there is hardly. I don't see any Indian brand who is doing that. Not a single one who is doing HEMA and TPO-free.
But what I also know, and this I know for certain, as of now, we are the only true manufacturers in India.
Absolutely, yeah. There is no other manufacturer there in India. Yeah.
So fine. And hey, look, someone might turn up and build a plant and have the know-how. Great.
Yeah.
If it's fair competition, and as long as they're not putting people's
Lives.
Lives is probably a strong word. I mean, if it's cancerous, then hopefully it's not that bad. But just they're not harming. Do no harm, right?
Yeah,
Like in
absolutely.
the end, do no harm.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Then happy days. But for now, we are the only manufacturer in India.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that all this company who is not, selling who is actually selling the harmful products, you think the government can do something about it, or should we reach out to the government and tell them, okay, this is all happening?
Yeah, we should.
Isn't it?
I think that we're new to this, right? We've been doing our own chemistry, manufacture, we export around the world. We've been doing that for decades.
Yeah.
We're new to what the Calyx London team is doing. So all eyes are on you. It's genuinely interesting work. I'm learning new things about marketing every day. Like it's awesome, right? I still don't have full understanding of how Instagram works, though you guys are threatening to teach me, and I don't want to. But I mean, all kidding aside, I think genuinely, as we start to become the number one, as we are well established, I think we must quickly bring government in.
Yeah.
And just say, look, just do no harm.
Yeah.
Check out certain players, make sure they're playing a proper game, proper cricket, and then fine.
Yeah.
But that definitely we have to get involved in that. We have to speak about that because it's not right.
Absolutely. Shifting to the next. Now, this is something that I know, but still, what was the idea behind launching Calyx London?
What was the idea behind launching Calyx London? You persuaded the entire team we had to do this. Safety was part of it. I was thinking about this when we were in the car, because you did tell me this question might come up, right? One of the reasons Dad wanted to do something in India, bearing in mind he left India in the 60s, right? And really successful.
I also remember one incident, but I'll tell you after you.
Yeah, well, he always wanted to give back, right, to the mother country, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and in many respects we have in our other industries and so on. And we continue to do that.
Yeah.
And we've brought new technology here. We're an award-winning business, right? Like, met the
2
Queen,
times winner.
We've won the Queen's Award twice. We've met. Well, I've met the King now because of the company and everything. So we're very fortunate for that, right? And we're all really proud of that. But one of the things he was genuinely proud of is that we've built a company. Yeah. And so one of the underlying thoughts was, well, let's solve this new problem. Let's give India that better class of cosmetic nail products, right? And just make it class and world leading in every sense, right? I want to see Indian technicians winning international prizes, right?
That would be interesting. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's going to come through education, experience, and the entire industry growing here in India. And right now it's very early stages. Yeah, but I would love to see that.
How do you see Calyx London transforming the nail industry in coming years?
Oh my God, I think I just want to answer that question. How do I see it transforming in the coming years, right?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that we have plans to go into the, European, in the West, or in other different countries as well once we settle in India.
Yeah, no, let's take, because the Indian market is so complex, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because the more you go in, dig down, you will...
It's unbelievable. Yeah. You can't treat it as one nation, really. Every state and every tier 1 city versus tier 2 city has different requirements.
Yeah.
I think if we can promote the education side, I think you'll have a really superior experience for the majority of your consumers, right? And you may see some bifurcation. You might have the really cheap salons becoming really popular, where everyone just wants to get in, get out, go, right? And then you might have these other salons where they take a bit more time.
Yeah.
And that's happened in the West already.
Yeah.
And you see that two-tier system itself.
Now, what we see in Indian market, the people are, all the nail technicians, even the salon owners, they are also getting more educated now. So they also prefer to have a better quality product.
Yeah.
Because now they are actually tired to use those crap, Chinese-made products.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the community grow.
Yeah.
Around Calyx.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
We're not the only player in town, right? So I'd love to see the general nail community really develop well.
Yeah.
And actually, you can see that in certain countries. They're actually quite a tight-knit community. They're really strong like that. I'd love to see that over here. Also, most nail salon owners, my understanding is they're still young women.
Yeah.
I want to see them prosper.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're a young woman in the modern world and you're earning your own bucks, well, why not? Happy days. That's what I want to see. And if we can support that, if we can build a community around that, happy days. That's what I want to see. Whether that's how the market develops, I can't tell the future, right?
Sure.
But, I think the other aspect that we must try and push is a better regulated community.
Right.
Because you don't want to be the person responsible for causing harm to your customers and so on.
Yes. Sir.
So that's something we must champion.
Thank you for your time. And I hope that we will see you very soon. And I'm sure our viewers, you must have answered all the questions and you are happy with that. We will come up with more podcasts just like this.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you all. It's really great what you're doing. So thank you.